Oh, closing statements. How could I forget? Okay, we'll do the closing statements, and we'll start with Ezra.
Thanks. How many minutes do we have?
5 minutes.
It's almost like I wrote that.
Yeah.
Look, oil's not perfect. I don't know any industrial activity that is. I don't know any human activity that is. And the most ardent environmentalists, the deep green Gaians, actually think that people are pollution and that we're a cancer on the earth. I don't subscribe to that. I think that energy is actually the source of life. It's certainly what's made us live longer and happier. And I actually wish it upon our friends in India and China that they may have cool air conditioning in the summer and heat in the winter and may be able to drive around instead of walk around. Some people said I should walk or ride a bike. You can't really do that if you're in an ambulance, can you? Or in the wintertime or in a big country like Canada. So where's it all going to come from? Ben, I've asked you like 3 times and your answer was the same every time. Well, one day we'll get there. More green things. Sorry, Ben, that's not going to work in India and China and Brazil and the developing country. And it's not even going to work in the United States. What I think is a morally serious debate is if we have to burn oil, and let's say you're against oil and you think it's evil, well then why don't you choose the lesser evil? If you don't agree with me that oil and energy are a good thing for people, if you think it's a necessary evil, and I'm guessing all of you do, because you have the plastic in your iPod that came from somewhere, and I'm guessing you took a bus or a car here, even public transit relies on oil, so why don't we pick the lesser evil? And by shutting down, let's say, the Gateway pipeline that would go to China, we're basically saying to China, we prefer that you buy your oil from Sudan. They're the biggest customer of Sudan. We prefer you buy your oil from Iran. They're a major customer of Iran. Because the alternative would be our ethical oil. Now you chuckle at that, but I put it to you that those 4 liberal values are met best by Canadian oil. Despite our problems, we have a better environmental track record than any other country in the world. Including than any other oil-producing country in the world. I'm sure Switzerland is great with their non-existent oil fields. Over the last 20 years, the amount of CO2 per barrel of Canadian oil from the oil sands has fallen by 38%. I can hardly wait to see how low it'll be in 10 or 20 years. Do you think they have that same spirit of self-criticism and improvement in Saudi Arabia or Nigeria? No. But environmentalism is not the only ethical value of a true liberal. True liberals care about peace. And you may disagree with how we spend our money, Ben. I disagree how the Alberta government wastes its money. They're wastrels over there. I hate the Alberta government. You may know they sued me for 3 years for publishing some cartoons. I'm no fan of theirs. I hate how they spend their money, but you know what? They're not buying nuclear bombs. They're not giving money to Hamas or Hezbollah. They're not. We are peaceful. We're the most peaceful country, and I know this because when Greenpeace breaks into a refinery, they don't do so in Saudi Arabia, the biggest oil refinery in the world, or Iran. They do so here because they'd be killed over there, and I love it. I love the fact that Greenpeace isn't killed. They irritate me, but I don't want to kill them, man. The third value, just give me a signal, Charlie, when I'm almost out of time. The third value that liberals believe in, they don't just believe in peace, green and peace, they believe in fair wages for the working man. Fort McMurray has the highest income of any city in Canada, and it's the most generous city in Canada if you believe United Way. And a guy with a high school diploma, can earn 100 grand driving a truck. If you're working poor, get yourself to Fort McMurray, because the lowest quartile of income earners are 77% further ahead in terms of purchasing power in Fort McMurray than in cities like Edmonton. It's great. How do you think they treat people in Nigeria? Life expectancy 47, 1 out of every 2 people earning less than $1 a day. Do you believe in respect for the working man? Well, then you must not believe in Nigerian oil or Venezuelan oil. How about my most important for me, human rights? We take it for granted. We take it for granted that you don't get killed in the middle of the night if you're a dissident. It's not that way in other countries like Russia, where 21 journalists have been killed by the KGB successor, the FSB. Even fellow Muslims are abused in Saudi Arabia. In Nigeria, the gang warfare and the paramilitary warfare, we don't even think it's outside of our imagination. Ben, I wish that the world was all like Canada, and that the people we were competing against for oil were like Canada. They're not. We're the butchers of the world. We're the gentle country of the world. We need improvements. Fear-mongering. Do you really believe that OPEC countries are gentle? If you do, then how come Ben is alive here and all the dissidents in those countries are dead? I'm glad Ben's around. And I'm glad his... 10 seconds? Yeah. Let me close this way. Whether or not you believe oil is a good thing as I do, or a bad thing as Ben does, you must agree, and I think even Ben does, that our Canadian oil, by my 4 moral criteria, are better, even on carbon dioxide, than oil from other countries. And until that fantasy fuel is invented, Ben, you must choose oil sands oil instead of OPEC oil. Thank you.
Well, first of all, I just want to say, Ezra, it's been a real pleasure debating you. You're a very skillful man, and I have gotten quite an admiration of you after having read so much of your work and watched you on YouTube and elsewhere. Even just the way that your voice goes, human rights. So I feel
I lived it, man.
Well, Ezra, first I want to say one thing. You say that you kept on bringing up the same question and wasn't answering, and when I heard when you debated Andrew Nikifork, you said, it's a fourth grade question, and I've been, waiting for my opportunity to say that. You never said fourth grade question, so I have to bring it up. But, the fourth grade question, piece, you remind me of a nagging fourth grader. Who has got, this addiction to chocolate or something that's really bad for them. And, the parents and the responsible people of the world have to say, Ezra, it's bad for you. We can't have any more, right? Like, you can't have any more of this stuff. Things need to change. And that change is very possible, but we need to make it happen right now. So, I didn't want to disappoint you. You came here to East Vancouver. I decided to do something that you never could have expected. So I wrote you a poem. So here we go. Ezra, this is an intervention. We brought you here because we care about you. We all know you have a problem. And we need you to know that your addiction is hurting us all. Drill, baby, drill, you say, like the little devil on our shoulder. Go ahead, do it. Everyone else is doing it. And we are so much better than they are, right? We can handle it. And anyways, greed is good, right? But have you really taken stock of the harm your addiction has caused? Have you listened to the voices of those concerned about your actions and the actions of your friends? How many security fences and separation walls have you built around your heart? Buddy, I look at you and I wonder, what kind of smoky backrooms have you sat? If I was a fly on the wall of your life, what schemes would I have seen hatched in your presence? It's not that I think you eat babies. It's that I don't think you would want to interfere if the market said it was the right thing to do. It's not that your ideology trumps reality. It's that it seems you'll say anything to serve the barons of industry. You say the free market can do anything, unless of course your buddies don't want things to change. Then their invisible hands tie ours behind our back. Now to be fair, you're not the only one. Clearly you're not alone. You're the microphone for a rising storm. You're a mirror held up to a chemical fire. You're the fall of Rome, the voice of a tea party where common sense is the only thing thrown overboard. We have to ask ourselves, what does the world look like behind those glasses? Maybe we shouldn't blame you. Maybe we should just help you find a friendly shaman for a spirit cleansing journey. Maybe you should
about pot again, Ben.
I am. Maybe we should surrender to a higher power, Ezra, and become one with the universe, or at least get grounded on the planet Earth here for starters. I wonder what your spirit animal is. Perhaps it's the duck-billed platypus, proof that evolution has a sense of humor, if you have a sense of humor or believe in evolution. If Yahweh digs poetic justice, you would no doubt be an endangered species, something trying to survive in an area threatened by your oily pals. Maybe it's just me, but I think you look kind of like a hairless polar bear swimming for all eternity in search of ice. You're right, CO2 is indeed plant food, but it's also the warm blanket you can't get off while you're running a fever. Ezra, when Wall Street took you under its wing, how did it smell? Is there anything on earth you wouldn't privatize? Is there anything too precious that you wouldn't give it away to the ravenous pirates of the free market high seas? Looking at you now, I can't help but think you should take off that tie, which you're not wearing. I was expecting you to wear a tie. And maybe you should wrap it around your forehead and wear it like you were gift wrapped by Satan himself as a gift for all neo-Republicans. There you go, perfect, thank you. Your book's called Ethical Oil, but perhaps it should be called Unethical Foil. Truth is, you've created a distraction, a sideshow, a bad joke and poor taste. I'm sure you were raised to believe thou shalt honor their mother and father. And who's your daddy? The almighty dollar and the house that oil built. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see you presiding over the end of the world as Fox News North Straight Talk commentator, denying global warming exists as all of us watch our TV sets melt before our eyes. You've interrupted this broadcast of the Age of Aquarius and replaced it with the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Thanks a lot, buddy. But don't worry, it's not too late. But the first step is you need to admit that you have a problem. I want to